Probably praying before suppers and the fun praise we did.
Probably all of the singing we did really made me feel connected with God, especially since I'm a very musical person.
Probably sleeping up on the bluff because we got to sit out and watch the stars, and it just made you really think about life and everything you're thankful for.
My favorite part of camp was probably spending a week with all my friends and doing all the activities.
My favorite part was getting to meet a lot of new people.
I still have them on Snapchat.
It was really nice to be able to spend that time with my friends and feel so welcome.
And we just sat around the campfire and sang all the songs. It was the last day. I don't know, it kind of sounds like cliche, but it was just really fun.
The best part was probably riding horseback in pajamas.
My favorite class was overcoming obstacles, and I liked that class because it gave me a whole new look on how you can overcome problems that you're having.
Yeah, overcoming obstacles. That was a fun one too. Well, it was just fun because we had a lot of hands-on things, and that's really how I learn best is hands-on stuff. So we just got to go through the obstacle course and just figure out how to solve the problems.
Food's God in You, because one of my friend's parents taught it. Was Dr. Chad Schultz. He's a really relatable guy, and it was a good class.
I really liked the Holy Trinity that Pastor Stanton did because that was always a subject that I was really confused about, growing up as a kid mostly, and then just in general, because it is really confusing if you don't have someone explain it to you.
Probably my mom, because she's just always pushing me to thank God for everyday stuff, and when I'm hunting she always wants me to thank God for what I get.
I'd say my small group leader, Paula, because over the past 2 years, being with her, I've learned a lot.
Someone who impacted my faith a lot was my sister, just because with her faith being so strong, it's really great that I could have her to look up to. I've looked up to her the most out of anyone I really know for when it comes my faith and everything.
I picked Mr. Frakes. His name's Brian. He was our math teacher last year. He got me into FCA, his Fellowship Christian Athletes at our school. He helped me open up my faith and spread the word to others.
I'd say Pastor Stanton, because we newer to the church, and it was nice having a new pastor, and he's helped our family out a lot.
Okay, so when I was a kid, it was mostly my mom, because my mom, she had this little Bible verse on this little piece of paper in the shape of a flower, and it had the Psalms, may the Lord bless and keep you, may his face shine upon you, may his blessings go with you and give you peace. And we had to say that every morning before the bus came. And I remember specifically one time my mom, the bus was there and it was about to leave, and my mom's no, you haven't said your prayer. And so me and my brother had to do that, and so I just think that was really cool. And then but right now I feel mostly my grandma, still my mom, but my grandma, because there's been a lot of health issues with my grandma. She has bone cancer, and I just, because we visited them for Labor Day this year, and she had this little plate and it said what cancer can't do, and it was shatter hope and break friendships and keep your faith, and I really liked that, and I feel our faith has grown even through all that, and it and so I feel that kind of has helped me grow in my faith too.
My verse was Philippians 2:3, and it was about putting others before yourself. And that really stuck out to me because I was
from a young age, my parents taught me that you should just give and be generous to other people.
I chose Psalm 119. It's my soul is weary with sorrow, strengthen me according to your word. Because sometimes I forget to be an optimist about things, and I remember to look on the bright side.
Proverbs 3, 5 through 6, because it says about letting God choose your path for you, so you have to rely on Him and trust Him that He knows what's best for you.
Romans 8:18, because it was a really uplifting verse, and it talks about like if you're having tough times, just to think about how it's not always going to be tough and things are going to get better.
Okay, I chose I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Philippians 4:13. I chose it because it reminds me that like even if I'm going through hard times, like if I have the God there with me, I can get through anything, and it just reminds me to be strong, and yeah.
So my verse was Genesis 28 verses 20 through 22. We receive really a lot from God, in that He provides our life and He secures our death, and everything in our life that He makes it good, and we know that our lives are pure, that we should be humbled and know that God is with us, and for all that we should be willing to give our 1/10 that He asks us for, that, and not always in the monetary value that we give our offering at church, but that we should show our pride and honor in all of God's creation and give it back to God's people, God's creation, being nice to other people, and I don't know, just creating an air of humanity that's pleasant.
I tend to think of myself as a leader, so getting to like just do everything with everyone, like not as much of a competition as it is just to be able to work with others.
I think I was given my gifts so that I could help people. I want to be able to help people with mental illness, and I think that God has given me the gifts that I need to succeed.
I'm an outgoing person, so I don't know, probably to like talk to people about Him. Like I remember when I went to Chicago, I talked to some guy on the bus about God and Jesus, and he didn't really know much, so I kind of informed him, and everyone was looking at me, but I did it.
Go climb a big mountain like Mount Everest. Just because like adventuring and seeing what God has to offer.
I really want to go on a couple more mission trips. I went to Chicago for the middle school one a couple years ago, and to South Dakota 2 years ago, and I didn't get to go to Detroit last year. So I'm in South Dakota. We packed these bags for the people. Like it was just a bunch of random like vitamins, sleeping bags, whatever like Walmart sent in, and batteries and stuff. So we gave that to them, and they were like so happy to get this. And I think it's good to like see the impact you've made on a community and like a positive impact. And I think like personally, I've had people spark a completely new interest in God through that, and I think that's just a really good thing to do, to have. Alright, so the Chicago trip, we went to Chicago and we visited and we met Eden. It was Bishop Eden, yeah. And we met her and we talked with her at a really nice hotel, and we learned about our vocation. Yeah, we learned about that the whole time, and like what God wants us to do in life. And we looked at around Chicago and visited a lot of cool things.
I like to, I just like getting together on Wednesdays, because during school you have a lot of homework and school, and you don't really hang out much. So it's just good to get together with your group and hang out.
Small groups every Wednesday. It's always a fun time just to touch base with people and socialize and talk. It's just always a good break from the week.
Really liked our small groups. I had like 4 other people in my confirmation group, and I just felt like we all grew together really well and bonded. It was really fun.
The group of kids that we had, like, I came in here being one of 3 Holman kids, and I don't know, it's kind of hard at first, but now me and like Kate, Alyssa, Katie, and all of them are like, we've gotten closer, and like through camp and mission trips and just like every week being here together, like, I don't know, it just made it so much better.
It's kind of like God's way of giving you like what you need for the week and getting like closer to him, because like he directly says like have the blood in the body, and that's like what represents him. So it's like getting like really close to God and his promise that he had to you.
God gave his only son for sacrifice, and he gave up himself. He's giving what you need, and in bread and wine.
That's like huge.
Why?
Because it's God. He makes everything good. And like, it's good to have a piece of good once in a while.
I think confirmation is a pretty substantial event, you know, just like really affirming your belief and your faith and sort of choosing God versus like in baptism. I mean, obviously your parents like chose to baptize you, but it's more like God choosing you. And I feel like confirmation sort of just solidifies that bond, like the two-way street sort of thing.
It means a lot because now I'm able to not just be a little baby and being put into a part of God's family, but instead being a grown-up and actually, well, a young man, and being able to actually say, I do believe in this, I want to believe in this, I am a Christian, instead of, and actually have the choice and be making the decision to say, yes, I do believe in God, and yes, this is my faith.
Well, the reason I took that death and dying class is because I really wanted to know what it was like after dying, or what supposedly happens, and yeah, that's one I'd really be wondering about.
I think for me, I would ask God how I can best enact his plan for me, and even though I already know that he will enact it, of course, I wonder what it is and how my life will shape.
During school, he helps me feel more safe, and that everything will turn out all right, even if my grades are bad at a moment in time. So
I focus on God the most during school, just because it can be really stressful, or you could see things that you don't really approve of or that you don't really like. So knowing that God's there and that he's not going to give you anything that you can't handle or anything like that, I just think it's a way to kind of calm yourself down.
Sometimes at night, especially after having a really hard day, or just stuff's going wrong, and I'm able to just take a deep breath, take a step back with him, pray to him at night, even just alone in my room. And whenever I'm able to do something like that, pray to him, I'm always able to just sleep better, because I know that he's there with me and that he's listening to me, and he knows what I'm thinking and what I'm going through and how I feel.